so much fun. Ah! Where's my knife? Who are you? Hello? I'm talking to you. Who are you? What is your response? Hello? I'm talking. Hello?
Hello, Max. My name is Robotic Max. I am the spirit that lives inside your knife. But that is not important right now. What is important is for you to review Skyward Sword HD. It has almost been 2 months, Max. Where is the video? Everyone's waiting for it. We need to see the review.
The spirit inside my knife? What? Skyward Sword. Wait, first of all, Skyward Sword. I'm not reviewing Skyward Sword. That game was like 2 months ago. I'm late. I'm not doing it. And this is creepy that I'm talking to my own knife. What? This. I don't want to mess with all of this.
Max, you must review Skyward Sword HD. The fate of the world and underground relies on this video review. You have reviewed every Nintendo Switch game of this year. You must review Skyward Sword. Everyone wants the video.
How's it going to be the fate of the world when only 5 people are going to care about this video? And how do you know about the underground? Because you for sure are not in the underground. But since you're so determined for me to make a video on this, I guess I'll go ahead and do it. Why are you making me do this video?
Good luck, Max. You will need it. If you need my help, I will be inside the knife. Just activate the knife if you want to talk to me again. Once again, good luck and have fun.
Yes, I know. I'm almost 2 months late on this video, but at least it's here. Hey, what's up everyone? MonadoMax here. Today we're back with another review. Today we're going to be talking about The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. So one of the things I want to bring up is I actually never played The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword on the Wii. The first time I played this game was on the Switch, and I played it completely on the Switch. I'm glad I didn't play it on the Wii, just because I feel like motion controls would probably be a pain with that game, and I know some people say the motion controls are painful, but yeah, I actually went fully button controls on Skyward Sword HD. I didn't even touch the motion on the Switch version. I know the motion's apparently better on the Switch version, but I don't want to touch motion. I'm not really too much of a fan of motion. I do like gyro controls on, at least depending the game, but something like this, nah. Another thing I want to bring up is, while I own a lot of Zelda games, there's a lot that I haven't finished. I played like over half of Majora's Mask. I beat Breath of the Wild. I own Wind Waker HD. I think I only got through the first dungeon of that game. And then I own Ocarina of Time, but never played that. The only ones I've actually fully beaten as like the full 3D Zelda games are Skyward Sword HD and Breath of the Wild. So keep that in mind when you're watching this review. If I make any sort of stupid points that you're like, did this man not realize that this happened in Wind Waker HD? So just keep that in mind. Alright, so let's start talking about Zelda Skyward Sword HD. What an interesting game. You know, one thing I couldn't help but notice when I played Skyward Sword HD, I feel like this was Nintendo trying to attempt a Mario Galaxy in the hands of the Zelda world. A lot of the things I was playing with Skyward Sword, I was like, this kind of reminds me of Mario Galaxy. I feel like that this game was supposed to be like the Zelda to Mario Galaxy, if that makes sense what I'm saying. Especially when they made the creations of the Loftwing, having to like travel throughout the world with Loftwings. I really think they were, when they were making this game, they had Mario Galaxy in mind. That's just a theory. That's just some of the comparisons I could see with the game. And it was actually kind of cool. I liked what they did with the Loftwings and all of that. And, you know, I'm just going to say, this game was trying to be the Mario Galaxy of the Zelda games. And I think it does a good job, but there's some issues with it. Like I said, there's some issues with Skyward Sword. One of those things being that this game was really awesome, But one thing I really was annoyed about this game, the amount of back and forth that you had to do to certain areas that you already visited before. You had to travel back to get some of these flames for the sword and to like time travel and stuff. Spoilers, by the way, guys, this is a spoiler review. Probably should have brought that up at the beginning, but that part of the game felt so dragged out. A lot of this game towards the later half, to be honest with you, feels extremely dragged out. And when you had to travel back, I was annoyed. I liked that there was some new areas that we didn't explore, but when we had to go back to the woods, I think it's called Labor Woods or something like that, when we had to go there for the first flame, a majority of that whole thing to get the flame was pretty annoying. You had to go back to a dungeon that you have already visited before completely just to get some water to bring back to the water place that you just left. This game has so much back and forth, and it's so unnecessary with moments like that. And me personally, I know some people like back and forth stuff, and you know, a majority of the time I do like going back to places I've already visited when there's new stuff. And sometimes when we did that, there just was no new stuff. You were just doing the same thing, or visiting the same place that you visited earlier. And it just, to me, felt boring, and it made me not want to play Skyward Sword, if I'm being honest, when I got to those points of the game. That being said, though, before we got to those points of the game was completely awesome. I was like, yes, this is a good Zelda game. I'm having a lot of fun. Because a lot of my friends always said that this game right here, not a good Zelda game. And I was like, I didn't play it, so I can't judge. And so I actually had that mindset playing this game that I might not have a lot of fun here, but I was having a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with the bosses of this game. There was so much fun here. There was so much fun exploring Skyloft. I thought Skyloft was a really cool area. And it's kind of cool to see a game. So I don't know how exactly the Zelda timeline works, but I know this game kind of is like a prequel in a way of how Ganondorf was a thing. Because, you know, Ganondorf's not in this game, but there's hints on how we're going to see Ganondorf. And I thought seeing that was kind of cool. Seeing how they did Impa was pretty cool. You know, I made this prediction that, you know, the old one that you see is actually Impa. And the only reason why I said that is because Breath of the Wild, you know, Impa's old in that game. And then, yeah, because I looked at the character models, they looked very similar, and then when the end of the game tells you that, it's crazy. One thing that I thought was extremely crazy of Skyward Sword was the fact that Impa died. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest with you. I thought we were just getting a cool, happy ending. Link just beat, what's the dude's name? The Immortal or something? The villain. I'm so sorry, guys. And then boom, you beat the game, and then you go out, you think the game's about to end, and then boom, Impa's dead. Now, I feel like I do need to bring this point up with Zelda Skyward Sword HD. The controls are a little bit weird when you go with the button controls, but it's understandable why they're not that great. You gotta remember, this is a game that was meant for the Wii remote. This game was completely meant for motion controls. The entire game, if you play the game yourself, you can tell that this is just a motion control game. So the fact they were able to get this running on a controller like this was incredible. But the controls, they feel a little awkward on some areas, specifically the camera. You will have to hold the L button and turn your camera, or your right joystick, to turn the camera. And it feels so weird and annoying at times. But you get used to it. It's just one of those things that you can't really complain too much because, again, you got to realize this game was for the Wii. But I feel like it's important for me to bring that up, especially you, the viewer, if you're looking to buy this game and you're looking at it from a control scheme. It is awkward sometimes in certain places of the controller. And, you know, there's always still motion. You could still use motion controls with this. Just like a lot of Nintendo's ports, this is one of their most controversial releases. Nintendo has released a lot of ports on the Nintendo Switch. A lot of them were very controversial, but the one that was the most controversial was definitely The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. A lot of fans felt that this game should have not been $60. Nintendo had also released Skyward Sword on the Nintendo Wii U Virtual Console for $20, and this was many of the fans' points of why the game shouldn't have been $60, as the game really did not add much. There was also other controversies with this game, with the fact that they made a amiibo for this game, which the amiibo cost $25. So what did Nintendo fans do in response? They tried to make a boycott. They tried to boycott this game, make the game not sell well, and basically tried to call out Nintendo for what they're doing here with the pricing of Skyward Sword HD. And right here, we have the footage of how Nintendo fans attempted to do a boycott against The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. Please take a look. I hate Nintendo. Screw Nintendo. No one likes you, Nintendo. Not buying your game. No, Nintendo. No. $60? You thought I was gonna pay $60 for this? No. No. $60? No. No, 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 no. No!
Hey man, how's it going?
Same old man, just a different day. Bring you in today, man.
I'm wondering, you got that Skyward Sword HD?
Yeah.
I'd love to pick that game up today.
Alright. I can definitely knock that out for you today, boss man.
Thank you. So how's your day going?
Hey, it's going. Can't complain.
You picking up Skyward Sword?
Yeah, I'm tempted.
Alright, thank you man.
No problem, boss.
Man, I love Nintendo.
So yeah, that's Nintendo fans for you. A majority of them. I know some people are going to call me out for that clip that I just did, but let's be real here. Nintendo fans suck at complaining. They suck at boycotting. And like I said before, this is Nintendo's one of their most controversial games that they have released so far. Because you had so many things with the game, $60, amiibo. But Nintendo fans suck at boycotting. The only way you're going to be able to get games like this to change their price is if you don't buy the game. And I don't understand why Nintendo fans don't realize that. And I know some people ended up not buying the game because they stayed true to their word. But I saw so many people that complained about this being $60 and still bought the game anyway. The same people that was complaining about all their other ports that Nintendo has done, charging them $60. The same people that bought the $25 Zelda Skyward Sword amiibo, they suck at complaining. The only way to have a successful boycott with Nintendo is if you don't buy the game. And this game, I'm just gonna let you know now, it probably sold 3 to 4 million copies. So if you were one of those people that complained and ended up buying the game, you're the issue why we still have priced $60 Nintendo games. Now, I was talking about how I loved using the Loftwing, but it was kind of also disappointing. I thought the Loftwing was going to be really used more, and especially when you play the game beginning of the story at least, it really feels like the Loftwings are going to be super important to the game. And I really felt they were going to be important because just how people talked about it, I kind of thought they would be more than just you're riding them as a gameplay feature. They really don't do much to the story, if I'm being honest, other than the beginning part of the game, it feels like. They're not really that important in Skyward Sword, I feel like. Obviously, you need them to travel where you're heading, but that's all they are. They're just traveling things. And I feel like as a gameplay feature, you could have done so much more with the Loftwings. And you know, I'm hoping that Breath of the Wild 2 fixes this. Because let's be real, it's obvious that the Loftwings are returning. Why would they make an amiibo? Why are they releasing Skyward Sword HD so close to Breath of the Wild 2? Breath of the Wild 2 is taken in the air. It does excite me to see the Loftwings back in action. And also, I'm just hoping they're used the right way. I don't know if I'm the only one that feels that way. But I feel like if you have such an awesome gameplay feature, why aren't you using it more into the story? There feels like you could do so much more with Loftwings. The storyline and music of this game is absolutely incredible. I loved playing a game where Ganondorf wasn't actually the main villain, if that makes sense. I thought it was pretty cool and original because I know a lot of these Zelda games, Ganon's always the villain. And you had someone like Girahim who was trying to bring back the big dark villain of the entire game. I forgot his name, I'm so sorry. But then some of the scenes that happens when you defeat the big bad guy is kind of cool, because you realize who he's talking about is indeed Ganondorf. So it's like the prequel to Ganondorf. And I thought this whole game, with how its concept of the story of doing something like that, was pretty cool. And I hope we see more Zelda games do stuff without having to use Ganon. And I know that's kind of difficult since everyone just always sees Ganon, and I know Breath of the Wild 2, Ganon is the villain. But I think it's still pretty cool to go as far as they did with Skyward Sword in terms of villains. Now, I brought up before that there was so much back and forth of places that you already visited, and I gotta say, this game really felt like it was stretched out to be a longer game when it easily could have been shorter. I feel like this game could have easily been a 20 to 25 hour game. And I know the Switch version of the game, you can beat it faster than the Wii version. I know a lot of people, it took them a little bit over 40 hours to beat it on the Wii. On the Switch, I beat it in I think like 32 hours. Although, a lot of my gameplay, I was kind of an idiot. I feel like I could have got it done probably around 28 hours. But still, I feel like a lot that happened in this game should have been cut out with the back and forths. Especially when you're collecting the Song of the Hero. Some of those gameplay areas, like I thought Labor Woods, what they did with that, with the water raising up, that was a cool section, but I don't know, I didn't really like anything else, like with the Songs of the Heroes, collecting the lyrics for all of that. This game just has too much back and forth action that, in my opinion, feels so dragged out so they could make a long game. And I don't know if they felt like, you know, you're buying a Zelda game, it needs to be a long game. I just think if this game would have not been dragged out like they did, I think there would be more praise for this game, if I'm being honest. We're already seeing more people, like more and more people, like start to like this game since it's on Switch. And, you know, the Wii version, it sold well, but it was like the lowest selling mainline Zelda game. So a lot of the opinions, a lot of people didn't play the game, to be honest with you. So I think now with it being on Switch, more people are going to play the game, more people are going to have an opinion, and it's not going to be as controversial like it was already. Now, I know I sounded pretty negative on this whole video with the review, but I really enjoyed playing Skyward Sword HD. I loved playing the first 15 hours of the game. Like, I really enjoyed playing the first 15 hours. Then we got to this whole point where we had to go back and forth, and I was just like, eh. Some areas were nice throughout that, and then figuring out the story along the way to that did keep me interested in playing despite being back and forth. I was annoyed with all of that still though. But with all that in mind, with the storyline, the music, everything we talked about today, I'm gonna have to give this game a 7.5 out of 10. I love this Zelda game a lot, but there was issues here, and if they would have taken out a lot of what we talked about today, I feel like this could have easily been a 10 out of 10 game. I made the comparison before, but this really feels like they were trying to make the Zelda of the Mario Galaxy games, if you get what I mean. Everyone loved Mario Galaxy. It was a huge game, did a lot for 3D Mario games, and I think Skyward Sword was trying to do what Mario Galaxy did for the Zelda games, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense what I'm trying to say. And some places it worked, some places it didn't. Well guys, I've been talking for way too much. I do want to know what you think of my whole review and a lot of things I said about Skyward Sword HD. What did you think about the whole controversy of Skyward Sword HD? Did you pick it up? Do you approve of the $60 price tag? And I don't want to make it seem like I was defending the $60 price tag of this game, because I know a lot of people are going to think I was defending the game. If I'm being honest, this should not be a $60 game. It's $60 to me because I never played it before. So it was worth it to me, but I get the controversy. I understand why people were not happy with the price tag, and I honestly agree with you guys. I think this should be a $40 game if I'm being honest, but because these games keep selling like crazy, they're not going to drop the price. So I want to address that right now before, you know, everyone hates on me. Probably should have addressed that earlier, but it's all good. I want to know everything you guys are thinking in the comments down below. Make sure to backslash that subscribe button, guys. Like the video. Check out my Discord. Oh, wait. We are moving our streams to Twitch, by the way, guys. Check out my Twitch. Follow me. It's going to be in the description below. We should be streaming on there in about 2 weeks from now. So come join me. We're not streaming on YouTube anymore. I hope to see you guys there. Well, guys, I will see you guys in the next video. Have yourselves a good one, and I will see you later. Peace.